Hey. It's genuinely great to see you guys again. I'm having a little trouble sleeping. As you can see, it's pretty late over here. So, how about in the meantime, I read you a story? Pretty good deal, right? I get a like, you get a story. Huh? Anyway, let's go ahead and just dive right into it. It's another story from the RPG Horror Stories subreddit. This time from user Koopacoon, and it's titled, "Despite not doing anything out of line, DM kicked me for admitting being a furry." Oh, OP. I'm sorry, that really, I hate prejudice based off of stupid stereotypes. We're all nerds at the end of the day, can't we just leave it at that? As long as nobody's causing a ruckus. Wait, did you cause a ruckus, OP? Got my eye on you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, me and my adoos, am I right? Let's go ahead and dive into this. This happened to me last year. The group I used to play with disbanded for several real-life reasons after playing our campaign for 3.5 years. Nice. After a month of a break, I decided to find a new group online to play 5th edition. I found a group that seemed to fit my playstyle, which is pretty laid back and silly, but also plays seriously when the situation needs to be. Same. That's pretty much my playstyle too. The session was around 4 hours, give or take, and we got along nicely, at least that's what I thought. The bard half-orc had an accordion in which he played ranchera music. If you don't know what that is, then just look up on YouTube Red vs. Blue Warthog music.
The hell is that music?
The barbarian dragonborn had an obsession on challenging people to slap competitions. I was a pirate dwarf tempest domain cleric who, liked to sing, even though he was really bad at it, and he only drinks rum. The kobold rogue and the human wizard didn't really have any silly quirks, although the kobold did his best to speak in third person all the time, even though he forgets to do it sometimes. And the wizard was an antisocial nerd that we voted to be our spokesperson, to get him out of his comfort zone. The PC, though, not the player. The player was actually pretty extroverted. We were a bunch of weirdos, and the DM followed along in our stupidity, and we all laughed and had fun. At least, that's what I thought. On our 3rd session, we left off almost at the end of the dungeon of the quest, and now we're about to face the first boss. It was an illusion wizard. His gimmick was all about tricking the eyes, so he had a colorful patterned robe, and in the DM's own words, quote, "This guy was able to put a fully functional kaleidoscope pattern on his robe." I don't remember who, but one of the players said, "This guy is 3 steps away from being a fursuiter." 'Cause the stereotype of a fursona tends to have eye-bleeding bright neon colors and patterns. And I seem to recall a couple of people not getting the joke, 'cause even though I heard some laughs, they weren't everyone, but we still seemed to be having a good time, so I added out of character, "Oh, then I should be able to reason with him. Trust me, I'm a furry." Someone did an uwu joke and obviously had a sarcastic tone that I'm gonna ruin the game. After the joking time had settled, the DM asked me, "Are you really a furry?" To which I replied that I am, not really thinking much about it. The DM continues the game, role-playing as the colorful boss, doing a final boss monologue, and after that, the DM calls for a break. Now, breaks on session were expected, and that's what the DM put on his Roll20 description. But they were expected after the 2-hour mark, and we were only in the game for about 40 minutes. Not only that, but the break was supposed to be 10 minutes. After 30 minutes on break, the DM finally replied, calling the session off without giving us a reason. Oh no. We thought he was just in a hurry, so we decided on leaving him alone and asking what happened the next day. Itch, itch, itch. Later that night, I received a message from the DM telling me, "I'm sorry, OP, but after reviewing these 4 sessions, I concluded that your playstyle is not going to fit on my campaign in the long run. So, for that reason, you won't be in the campaign anymore. Thank you for your time." Oof. Oh man, that's... Ugh. I don't even know how to feel about that. Now, I would be a little disappointed and a little sad that I was no longer welcome to the campaign, since I was having a lot of fun. But what tipped me off is after that message, without giving me time to reply, DM just kicked me from the server, the campaign, and blocked me. The next day, I got a message from one of the players telling me that the DM was a jerk, doing a god-awful job of trying to paint everything I did as cringy, and raising a bunch of non-existent red flags, just really stretching his reasons on why I was a danger to the campaign. He even said that I threw a temper tantrum when he gave me the reason I was going to be kicked. Oh, man, that just really makes me mad. You have no idea how much that infuriates me. I hate lying, alright? If you have a problem with someone, you should at least be honest about it and not hide behind bullshit reasons. See, it's the hiding behind reasons that is just an absolute indicator that this person knows what they're doing is wrong, and it's for all the wrong reasons. They're aware of it, they're just trying to hide. Ugh. It's such bullshit. That really makes me mad. Really just... It's fine. I'm fine. It's cool. We're cool. Everything's cool.
Okay, fine. I'm cool. I'm fine.
I'm sure he gets his comeuppance by the end of this, right? Like, I have a feeling. Like, the fact that somebody immediately messaged OP to let them know that this was going down, like, that person did not agree with what's happening. They can't be the only one, right? Anyway, I need to hear how this ends, because I am fuming about this DM. After that, he said that everyone left except for the kobold player, siding with the DM. Oof, gross. Saying that he watched a bunch of YouTube videos of RPG horror stories saying that furries ruin games 100%. May I remind you that I wasn't even playing a furry race. I was playing a dwarf. Heck, that half-orc bard was the flirty one. 'Cause of course it was, but nobody minded that. I even asked the guy who contacted me if I had been doing anything cringy or creepy, and they told me no, not at all. So it was just that the DM was going at me because I admitted to being a furry, and nothing more, as if that was enough to be an awful player. No, absolutely not. That is such ridiculous prejudice, and over such a ridiculous thing as whether or not someone's a furry. You should be basing your opinion and whether or not somebody's in your campaign or even around you in general off of how they act, who they are as a person, what they do, not what they like. I mean, as long as what they like isn't hurting anyone, you know? Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. Let's just continue. Okay, I know that we furries can be a little bit quirky, and yeah, I'm not saying that everyone will behave on the table. I mean, those horror stories about furries exist, but just like most of the negative stuff in fandoms, those are a very loud minority, and these types of places will highlight them because it's funny. I guess a lot of people here are aware of this, but please give the benefit of the doubt. Don't segregate people more than we already are. Well said, absolutely. Honestly, this DM sounds like an absolute immature tool. Really, that mindset is just... Believing that every stereotype you come across is true is a pretty toxic way to live your life, both toxic to yourself and to others. But this player didn't seem to show any signs of doing anything that a cringy fursuiter would do, other than saying that they're a furry. Not even a fursuiter, just a furry. Obviously, the DM is 100% in the wrong here, and a total jerk. And then to lie on top of it is just super gross. Like, ugh. Either admit why you kicked the person or say that it was a personal matter and you don't want to talk about it. But don't lie. Ugh. Lying is just so gross. Especially when it comes to a game that relies on the honor system and trusting each other and trusting your DM. Ugh. It's just a straight up betrayal of trust on several layers. This guy just sucks. So, I am honestly so glad that this guy lost all of his players but one. And honestly, that player's as gross as this DM is. But we'll get there. There's no need to be prejudiced against people for a hobby. Like, think of how many people are prejudiced towards this hobby, towards tabletop RPGs, for pointless reasons. Needless bias, just because you like something that isn't hurting anyone else. Now apply that to furries. Sure, they've got some loud bad apples, but so does every fandom. So does every group, whether it's the different groups of people at your job, at your school, at your college. Hell, the different groups of friends that you have. I'm sure there's at least one or two people that really burn your biscuits a little, right? It's just natural. That's just the way of things. Every group's gonna have some bad apples, some bad seeds, and you can't judge an entire group by that. At the end of the day, OP didn't do anything wrong. OP sounded like a delightful character to have at the table. OP seemed to follow the rules and get along with everyone, and it wasn't until it was mentioned that they happened to be a furry that DM even had any problems. Not to mention, he freaking lied. He straight up lied to his group about what happened. Like, I'm glad they left him. That man-child doesn't deserve a group. I despise lying. Especially to people who put you into a position of power and trust. That's a straight betrayal. Ugh, it's so gross. I hate it. I hate everything about this story. OP did nothing wrong, and this DM just genuinely sucks. I still feel bad for OP though, because at the end of the day, he did still lose out on a campaign. It sounds like it crashed and burned, which serves DM right, but OP and the others, I hope that they're able to get back together. Maybe find a new DM or one of them DMs and they're able to play together again. They sounded like they were having fun. Especially with the level and depth of roleplay that they had going on. Like an extroverted person playing an introverted character, struggling with being the face and being extroverted. That's like layers of roleplay. That's amazing. I love that. So yeah, TLDR, screw that DM. He sucks. He knew what he was doing was wrong because he had to lie about it. OP's sweet babby who did nothing wrong, and we all wish well wishes for them. And heck yeah to the rest of the party for dropping that DM like the hot turd that he is. Anyway, how do you guys feel about it? What are your thoughts and opinions? I would absolutely love to hear them down below in the comments section. Please go on and hit me up. Anyway, it's getting pretty late, and hanging out with you guys I think may have made me able to get some sleep myself. Thanks for spending time with me. I genuinely appreciate you. Until next time, bye-bye.